What are some common facts that people believe to be true even if the existing evidence states the contrary? Camels don't use their humps to store water. They use them to store fat reserves. Because storing fat reserves around the body like humans would keep them too warm. So they have it all in one spot. If the police arrest you and do not read your rights, the case will automatically be thrown out. That only invalidates any interrogation they conduct. Myth: the pool is definitely clean. It has such a strong chlorine smell. Quote: fact: a strong chlorine-like smell, like the kind you associate with public pools, is actually an indication that the water is not chemically balanced. It might even be a sign that the pool needs more chlorine. Source: https://chlorine.americancchemistry.com/science-center/chlorine-month-library/chloramines-u. Understanding pool smell. Edit. Lots of people commenting about how this smell comes from pee. And yes, you're partly right. However, there's also ammonia in sweat, so it can contribute to the smell too. The source linked above actually explains chloramines and pool smell quite well if you'd like to understand this phenomenon better. Worms come out when it rains because they're drowning in their holes. No, not really. They mostly come out because when it rains heavily, they are able to survive on the surface for much longer and move around, finding new areas to feed and more worms to breed with. A few people still believe that opening windows before a tornado to even the pressure will save their house from damage. Some also still believe trailer parks attract tornadoes and that random sacred landmarks can protect cities from tornadoes. That Einstein was a bad student and was bad at math. It's just not true. He got average high marks and was really just disdainful of the structure of school. And he was good at math. Physics is like 90% math. I get why people share it. It's to make struggling students feel better about themselves. But can't we tell them about something else instead of lying? Cutting your facial hair makes it grow in thicker. I had a full-on argument with an individual who firmly believed that genetics played no possible role in hair growth whatsoever. I have never been more perplexed or angry in my entire life. Sincerely, Bald at 25. The most violent arguments I've had have been convincing patients with a viral cold that they don't need antibiotics. Vikings never actually drank from skulls of enemies. This was based on a mistranslation of Old Norse poetry in which they refer to drinking from horns. People still think an undercover cop has to tell you they're a cop. How does that even make sense? Months of preparations ruined on the first day because someone happened to ask the magic question. Cops are allowed to lie to you and they will pretend to be your friend to get what they need from you. Side note: even if you're innocent of a crime, the first words from your mouth should be, "I want a lawyer." And you don't provide any information until you have one. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. It is rarely necessary to wait 24 hours before filing a missing person report. That 30 used to be considered ancient back when the average lifespan was 25 or whatever. The average is offset by a huge number of child deaths. 30 was never ancient. Even hunter-gatherer societies had people routinely living into their 60s. A person drowning is not likely to be flailing wildly and yelling like in the movies. Drowning can often happen with mostly silence, especially with kids. Read up on the signs. It might save a life. I was drowning and lost consciousness when I was 5. I was told I barely made a sound. I went under, sucked in lungs full of water when I tried to cry out in surprise and blacked out. If it wasn't for my dad's instincts and quick action, I'd be dead. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. In fact, it does. And frequently. You don't want to be there when it happens. You can only taste certain tastes on certain parts of your tongue. That. Tongue maps. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/tongue_map. Or correct. Your heart stops when you sneeze. A lot of people think they can burn belly fat by doing crunches or slim their arms down by doing push-ups. But targeted fat loss isn't possible, and there's no evidence to suggest it is. You can tap a block to see if it is loose in Jenga, which is stated quite explicitly in the rules. And fuck you everyone who said I couldn't. Wait, what the fuck, this blew up for no reason. Cracking your knuckles too often will give you arthritis. Nope. No conclusive study has ever backed this up. It just releases the gas from the synovial fluid in your joints, which is neither good nor bad. When you swallow gum, it stays in your body for 7 years.